All right. Hello. We are live. Let me go live on Instagram. We're almost there.
I just want to start talking. You know,
Okay.
I'm always...
You go ahead.
Hello. Most of you are probably from my YouTube. I have not been posting on YouTube because I've been recently demonetized on YouTube for the third time. So I'm discouraged, and now I'm losing subscribers every single day since I've been demonetized. Anyways, so I'm just discouraged. I'm so tired of being censored. Censorship is insane. But I'm asking you all, if you are on YouTube, to please follow me on X. And today's topic is going to be about X. But X is the one place where I am not getting censored. And we have Elon Musk to thank for that, even though we're kind of annoyed at him right now, as a lot of people are. That's okay. Just don't worry about that.
Yeah. Trouble on mine. Okay.
Yeah. So X, if you're on X, please follow me there because I'm not censored there. And I'm having to really censor myself on YouTube right now because of being demonetized 3 times. So if you're on X, I have the same name, follow me there. And there is a war happening on X right now.
Yeah.
So not everyone knows about this yet. So
That's
before
true.
we get into it.
Yeah, we need to give the background because if you're not on X, you haven't been seeing the war.
Yes. And if you're there, say hi in the comments. Hello, say where you're. And Merry Christmas. Sorry, we're going right into some drama.
Merry Christmas.
But Christmas is over. We're going to be having to do a lot of cleaning up in this next year because we're switching from Biden to Trump, and that's never a smooth transition when there's a whole...
By the way, hasn't this seemed like the longest transition ever?
Yes. I'm
the
so ready
longest
for
transition
it.
ever.
And you know what? I have a feeling they're gonna pull some stuff in January. They're gonna say that Trump's unqualified and try not to
before it actually happens.
Yeah, and try and overthrow the election.
Well, they actually have already threatened that if we don't allow Speaker Johnson to stay the speaker, that Trump won't get certified or something like that. They're already threatening that.
Yes.
I don't know.
So again, YouTube has been censoring me. I haven't been coming on here as much lately or posting as much because I've been censored. I've been demonetized 3 times. So please, if you're on X, find me there. And today's
find me on there
my
as
husband
well.
Joshua. And today's topic is there is a war happening on X right now, and my husband happens to be right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I'm on X.
So give some background to what's going on with X.
Yeah. So, okay. There's a battle going on. Big picture, it's over foreign workers. Foreign workers who are coming into the U.S. with H-1B visas, which are, it's a work visa. And a lot of them are coming from India, places like this. And the battle is over hiring these foreign workers to replace Americans, specifically in the tech industry, in Silicon Valley for, coders and engineers and things like that. So that's what the battle's been going on. Do you want to know how it got started?
Sure.
Owen Schroer is on top of this as well, and he has lost his blue check mark. His blue check mark has been taken away for this.
First of all, let me make this clear. Let me make it very clear. We are fans of Elon Musk. We don't hate the guy.
I want him to succeed. I want DOGE to succeed.
Yes.
I'm just like,
he does have a lot of power right now, and I think he's flexing it.
Yeah, please don't censor us.
And this is the beauty of our government, is that it was supposed to be set up with checks and balances, balance of power, and there may be some conflict of interest if he does, when Trump gets in office and if he's the head of DOGE, and if we do see an increase in these visa programs that allow foreign tech workers to come into this country. Not just tech workers. It's not just for tech anymore, though.
No, it's not. And that's how the discussion started. But people are discovering now that a whole can of worms have been opened. Okay, so the reason this whole thing started was there's a guy, and I forget his name. I probably, even if I had it, I wouldn't pronounce it right. Indian guy, lives in London. Apparently he's an American citizen, but from India, lived in India a long time, lives in London now. And he has been appointed to a position. It's one of these lower level positions. It's not like a cabinet level position, but he's going to be in the Trump administration. And his comments on using H-1B visas, foreign workers to come take American jobs, is what kicked this whole thing off. And people are like, whoa, why is this guy going to be in charge of a situation that is kind of closely related to this? He has basically called for removing the cap, the limit, because currently there's limits in every country. You can't just have all the visas coming in from India or from China. They all can't come from one country. There's a cap placed on each country. And he's saying we should get rid of those caps and make it all a meritocracy, which on the surface sounds good. Just take the best, right? The problem is that's not how the system works. The system is completely and totally being abused. It's not a meritocracy right now. And people are afraid that guys like this have loyalty to their home country and are just going to try and bring in those people and not. Well, anyway, the whole thing started with the discussion of this, and then it became, okay, so we started to look into the H-1B visas and ask, what is this for? And then it turned into, well, is it the best and the brightest in the world? Which is what the tech bros are claiming. We just want the geniuses, and you guys are holding America back by not allowing the geniuses of the world in. We want America to win. And the pushback is, that's nonsense. You guys are not allowing geniuses in. You guys are having low-level coders come in, and you want to pay them grunt wages. So that's the debate.
And so the thing with this program is that the company is supposed to try and recruit American talent first, which makes sense. Okay. We should be, when it's an American company, they should be hiring American workers. They live in America. They get all the benefits of living in America and being an American company, right? They're supposed to hire American workers first. And then if there's not enough American workers, then they can do I don't know how to say H-1B or HB1.
H-1B.
H-1B. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
H-1B visas to bring in to recruit foreign workers. And
they fraud the system.
Yes.
So there's court cases. There's multiple examples of this. So companies like Apple will go and they'll say, because the rule is you're supposed to hire an American first. You're supposed to at least give Americans the opportunity to apply. And if nobody takes the job, now you can go and get a foreigner to come in and take it. Well, there's multiple examples where they will have a job opening and they won't post it on their website. And then they'll be like, yeah, nobody applied. Well, you didn't even post it on your website. And then they'll do crazy things like, you can only apply through the mail in 2020s. Like, what are you doing? Like, and they make it almost impossible for Americans to apply for it. And then they'll say, well, nobody wanted it. And so now we can go get the foreign worker, pay him less, and make him work 80, 100 hours a week. And he's okay with it because if he speaks up, he gets deported. It's indentured servitude is what it is. And then what's so infuriating about this is they're doing this, and then when people speak up, they start yelling at us and telling us, "Oh, you guys are spoiled brats." And I mean, look, again, I like Elon. I want the guy to succeed. I am very grateful for what he did on Twitter. It was huge. But the guy, we have to be honest, what he's done in the last 48 hours, there was one point where somebody said basically that Americans were retarded, and that's why they're not the ones getting the jobs. He used that word. And Elon basically agreed with that. You're going to make a lot of people mad like that, dude. And so I just...
And also, what's the reason the people that are taking this pro more H-1B, I can't say it, I'm so dyslexic. H-1B visas.
I know. I said HB1 for a while because it kind of flows easier, but it's H-1B.
That are pro this.
Just say visas.
Are the ones that are using the program. So that makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, I get why not hire. I'm coming from them. I see why they're into it, because Indian workers, people from India, are more likely because they're
willing to take lower wages.
Because their country sucks. I hate to say this.
India sucks.
But
not the people.
Yeah,
but the country sucks. So, but I will say the culture sucks.
So in contrast, taking a $60,000 job here, working $60,000 a year job, working in a tech company, in Silicon Valley. You get to have roommates or whatever, which is what a lot of them do because the rent is so high there. And it's much better than being in the slums of India. You just get your little tech license and you come here to the US.
Yes.
And so basically in contrast to what's happening in their country, it seems like a great job, right? But then for American workers, we're a little more picky. And that's what their argument is, that they don't want to hire Americans because Americans aren't willing to work the long hours. And that's true. There is some truth to that. But at the same time, we are only the tech industry gets this pass. What about doctors? What about nurses? They hire Americans, and they make it work for us because we're not used to living in slums and working in slums. And so the tech industry needs to make their jobs desirable for Americans.
Yeah, they're abusing the system. So let me give you guys some stats and some like headlines from times when this has been abused. And somebody mentioned this in the comments. So ex-Disney IT workers sue after being asked to train their own H-1B replacements. So Disney had the American workers train their replacements and then fired them.
Story time. This actually happened to me with PragerU. I have not told this story yet.
Now you are. You told me not to get to. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just tell it real quick.
So, hey.
2 years ago, I was asked to host a kids show with PragerU.
I mean, it wasn't a foreigner, so it's not exactly the same.
Yeah. So I helped to develop the show. I helped to write the show. I hosted the show for four episodes. We did a great job. It was so much work, and I did it for very little pay, but I was very excited at the time and a fan of their work. And I was not, I was pretty ignorant of a lot of things at the time as well. And I did the 4 episodes, and then all of a sudden this young girl, because I'm 42.
Yes.
About 42. To be 43. Yeah. As soon as I forget. And I always think of myself as a year older than I am, just to help myself feel better about getting older. I don't know. Does anyone else do that? But anyways, so I think they thought I was younger than I was, and also they were flying me from Florida to LA, and that's expensive. Yeah. And so all of a sudden there's this young girl that looks very much like me, curly head, smiley, full of energy, likes kids, coming to work as an intern as I record an episode. And she's asking me so many questions about how I do it, and I'm helping her and I'm telling her how to recruit the kids and then a couple months later, they're producing the show. They're getting ready to launch the first episode of the show, and they call me up. And this is after I haven't been hearing from them for a while. I'm like, what's going on with this show? And they call me up and they're like, just to let you know, we have another host. And I'm like, you guys didn't even tell. You had me work. And the show was a mess before I got involved. Like, it was not going to work.
You basically created it.
Yeah. It was like a man on the street show, but for kids. And so you had to recruit kids to interview on the street. And I am a middle school teacher, and this was middle school age kids, so I knew how to recruit them. They're not easy.
Kind of messed up
to recruit. Yes,
it definitely doesn't leave a.
So I got replaced, but she was young, and she didn't cost. She lived in LA. She didn't cost as much. She was willing to work for free because she was an intern already. So
I mean, not that group is hurting for money that they couldn't afford it. I mean, you guys can. It's public information. You can look up what the CEO makes. But I don't want to bag on them too much.
But anyways, it happens. This kind of stuff happens, and you get used by these companies.
Yes. Now, and look, companies do.
No, it was not Amala. Amala was already big. This was 2 years ago. It was the show was called. What was the? I don't know.
And not to bag on the girl. It's not about the girl. But
the show was called Street Smarts. You can look it up.
Look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, and you'll see that I am the first four episodes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's adding insult to injury to have to train your replacement.
Exactly.
And that is an abuse of the system.
It's the first time I've ever told anyone about this publicly.
Yeah. That is not how the system's supposed to work. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Google, Meta, and Amazon, I'm quoting the headline, hire low-paid foreign workers after U.S. layoffs report. So they lay off Americans and then hire the low-paid foreign workers. That's how the game is played. It's not how it's supposed to be done, But that's exactly what they're doing.
So we should not be pro this.
No, it's horrible. MAGA at its core is against this. Like that, the whole point of MAGA is like for the people, for American people, and for the middle class, right? To grow the middle class. All right, here's another one. This is from Fortune magazine. Apple pays $25 million to settle a suit over favoring foreign hires and making it so hard for U.S. workers to apply that few or none did for certain jobs. So that's what I was talking about, where they made it so you couldn't find the job to apply for it. They rigged the game.
And here's the thing: as someone who was a public school teacher for millennials and then for Gen Z, I will say the young people in America right now that are getting ready to go to college and embark on their career, they're worried.
Yes.
They're worried about getting a good job and being able to make a living in this expensive country.
Okay.
And these tech jobs should be going to them. They should be going, there's something to be said about getting, doing a $60K a year tech job. It's not what you want to do for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
But they're a starter job. And these starter jobs are going to foreign workers who will work them forever.
Exactly.
Because as long as they're beholden to that company. They're not going to get promoted. They were given that job through that visa, a particular job. And so now they don't have to, they just have these, that are the low wage workers of the tech industry are now not going to these young people who are getting their 4-year degrees and taking out debt for it, right? Instead, they're going to these foreign workers.
So the whole thing is a false promise to the American people. Go to school, study hard, get your degree, and then you'll have this job. But when they get out of college and they have all the debt, even in STEM degrees, we're not talking, underwater basket weaving. We're talking STEM degrees, right? They're supposed to be the best, most guaranteed. They go out into the workforce and, oh no, a foreigner took your job. You can't even find a way to apply. So it's really wrong. And then, so to piggyback on what you said, they're having these foreign workers take the lower level jobs, right? And that's the one that you use to get your foot in the door. But then those workers are then closing the door behind them and hiring all their buddies. So let me give you another headline. This is from Bloomberg. Cognizant, so that's the name of a company, discriminated against non-Indian workers, a U.S. jury says. So there was a lawsuit and a jury trial that found that basically the Indian workers, the foreign Indian workers who came in and had these initial jobs were preferentially choosing other Indians to come in and work there, and then keeping the Americans out.
And why not? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever been around Indian? I mean, I'm not saying
this is every culture.
Yeah, every culture does this, but we don't want this to happen in America. Where
it shouldn't be happening.
One race is taking over an industry.
Exactly. Right? It's natural to do on the one hand. I get it. Like you want to help your country workers, but you're not even from here. And you're taking over our industries and then keeping Americans out. That's a problem.
And there are particular cultures that are more likely to do that than others.
Yes.
And Indians are one of them. And I commend them for that.
Yes.
I wish Black people
because they take care of their own.
Yes,
Indians
they're very
take
good
care of their own.
at taking care of their own. So they're like, we're not going to give this job to this white boy over here. We're going to go hire Abdul. Sorry.
Yeah, whatever.
Just do a random Indian name, but whatever. We're going to hire Abdul instead of Brian because Abdul will hang out with us and we'll do our whole, we get together as Indians because they like to hang out with each other, especially those that are foreign workers that weren't born here, and that happens everywhere, especially in California. California is one of the most segregated states in this country. It's turning into little countries within California. And we're being pushed out, those that were born here.
Yeah, and
those that are Americans.
People are
identify as an American. Joshua is an American. We're mixed Americans. We're full of everything in us. Most of us are mixed.
But we're Americans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we're getting pushed out.
Yeah.
And so here's what's happening with Elon Musk and Vivek is that they're defending their position by saying that they're not admitting that they're using these workers because they're low wage and willing to work more hours. They're saying that it's because American workers are
the same thing.
Yeah.
Boss was replaced by an Indian within a year. My whole team was replaced by
an Indian. When this type of stuff happens, when a foreigner comes in and replaces one worker, okay, that happened. Okay, too bad. But when it comes in and replaces a whole workforce,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to cause racism and resentment.
Exactly.
Now, is resentment actually racism? I don't think so.
Or are we just pointing out the reality and being like, this is not
messed
cool?
up.
Yeah.
It's
It's pretty messed up.
Yes.
It's pretty messed up.
So now the whole Elon Musk and Vivek, instead of admitting that they like to use these workers because they're lower, they don't have to pay them as much, and will work their whole lives at the job, 100 hours a week. Yeah. Instead of admitting that it's because of that, they're saying it's because American workers are retarded. Literally.
Yes. Stupid, lazy. Yes. Vivek put out a tweet. And again, I want Vivek to succeed at the DOGE thing.
And we don't dislike. This is what's great about our side. We can disagree with our leaders.
Yes.
We're not blind followers, and we can call them out when they're wrong. And there's a lot of people on X doing that right now, calling out Elon Musk and Vivek.
Yeah.
And this is important because they are about to be in charge of our country. They have actual cabinet level. They're going to get cabinet level positions in Donald Trump's administration. And we need to, and it's important that we don't just blindly let them do whatever they want. They are employed by us. And so it's important that we call this out. And if we see an increase in the H-1B programs, if we see, now you can import as many foreign workers as you want while they're in charge, then the red flags need to majorly come up. Yeah. Because that's a conflict of interest.
Yes.
Yeah. They're not actually there for the American people. They're there for their own interests.
Well,
now, I don't know about Vivek because I think he sold off his company.
Yeah.
But I know so I don't know how.
There's still that, kind of, clearly there's a affinity to his ethnic group because he's agreeing with this call.
Oh, that makes sense.
To remove the caps on country limits, which means, okay, let's have a whole bunch more Indians to come in, which, hey, I get your solidarity with your people, but your solidarity with America should come number one, or else you shouldn't be in American government.
I also want to compliment foreign workers and Indian Americans especially, because that is very smart. You live in a slum country, and instead of entering this country illegally like the losers that don't know how to apply for these programs, you're going through the legal pathways, and you're working like it's not their fault, right? I think that's I'm all about the American
dream. It's
like
when Trump says
and people coming in legally.
It's like when Trump says that foreign countries are ripping us off, and he'll be like, "Hey, if I were you, I'd do it too." They're smart, right? He'll call them smart for ripping us off.
And that's why when Trump says that when people are coming into this country illegally, they're not sending their best, right? These aren't the best and the brightest that are coming in illegally, because there are legal pathways into this country Disney World, Disneyland, Disney hires foreign workers all the time. People that clean the bathrooms at Disney usually are foreign workers, right? And they apply through visa programs. But people entering in illegally, they don't want to go that route. They want to just come in and get free handouts. Right? They don't want to go the working route. So I do have a lot of respect for the people that come into this country legally. Now, does it mean it needs to be a program with no limits? Absolutely not. We need to have limits because there's 1 billion people that wants to come into this country. Last I heard, 1 in 6 people in the world would love to live in America.
We can't take everyone.
So we can't take everyone. So we need to have limits. And we also need to protect the citizens, the people that are actually paying the wages of our
politicians. So when you say that, protect the citizens, the response that people are getting from the tech bros on Twitter, when you say something like that, they say, "Oh, you mean like DEI, special favors for special groups? That's just DEI. That's what they're calling it," which is crazy because like the idea of having a country where you favor the citizens, that's like the definition of a country. Like, this is not DEI. You're just using tricky words to play the game. Like, you might as well just erase all borders and just be a globalist if that's what you want. Like, America is not just some economic zone. The country is supposed to favor its citizens. Sorry, my dog is demanding attention.
I also think that Elon Musk is getting ratioed super hard right now on X.
He got ratioed multiple times.
And so that means that he's being put into a corner and he's kind of punching back.
Yeah.
And Elon is a fighter. I'll give him that. I think that's great. That's a good trait about him, just like Donald Trump. But he's just wrong on this.
He's wrong.
He's wrong on
wrong.
this.
And he's being called out.
Yeah.
And instead of backing down,
Mhm.
he's getting stubborn. So, people were, here's another headline here. People were worried about all the Boeing's plane and the problems with the planes and like, they're being built like crap. Well, here's a headline from Bloomberg. Boeing 737 MAX software outsourced to $9 an hour engineers.
Well, that's why our airplanes aren't doing too great.
You wonder about the problems with these airplanes? $9 an hour engineers. Here's another one. Facebook settles claims it discriminated against U.S. workers for some jobs in favor of temporary visa holders. This is what's going on. So, okay, so let's get to the response of it. Vivek put out something where he basically said, and there is some truth to this. He basically said, look, you Americans are, American culture is especially in education, you guys are not focused on like studying, and your culture, he's basically comparing it to Asian culture. So if you look at like Asian, like Chinese culture, right? In high schools and among, especially among students, the culture is work, work, work. It's almost like a beehive mindset, where these kids, they're under so much pressure and they work, 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 and it's study all the time and get home from school and study.
If you watch, I just have a little.
Go ahead.
If you ever watch Food Network, I love Food Network. It's like my favorite station because I love food. But whenever there's an Asian like chef, they're one of them. What they always say, I want to make my parents proud. I want to show them because they did not want me to become a chef. They wanted me to be a dentist or a doctor. Right? Yes. And they almost always say that. And I always root for them because I'm like, I hope you can make your parents proud. Because if you lose, that's going to be hard.
Because there's all this pressure on them. But there's balances and there's extremes on this. And okay, there's some good parts to that idea. And you don't want to go to the other extreme and be super lazy. But the American culture, at least, kind of in our heyday, we were, the height of the world. And yet we didn't have this type of stuff. So you look at guys like Buzz Aldrin, right? And the people who were, did the moon landing, all these kind of people, they were like, because Vivek was saying, oh, you guys, are worried about being jocks and cheerleaders and you're not studying hard enough. The American culture was like, we have like the idea of like a Renaissance man. Like our founders were well-rounded. Like the astronauts, you had to have all these different things. And that's actually a good thing. Like the idea of kids having sleepovers on the weekends instead of just constantly studying is a good thing. Mm-hmm. We don't have to spend all of our time being nonstop workers to make sure that the corporate profits are going to be higher because we're the perfect employee. I don't want to live in a country like that. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't live in Asia for a reason, right? And we don't need to do that for America to win. What I'm concerned about is the average middle-class American worker having a good paying job. That's what I'm concerned about. So, Vivek's argument has kind of been like, well, America's not going to win if we don't compete like this. But what does winning mean? Who cares about winning if everyone's working 100 hours a week and our families fall apart? That's not. And the reality is that's just an excuse.
And I will say in their defense, is leftist Gen Z, left-leaning Gen Z, they're struggling with a lot of mental health issues. They've been listening to Bernie Sanders for far too long. Bernie Sanders just did a post about 4-day work week. Okay. And let's compare that to the older generations who easily worked a 40-hour week and that didn't complain about it. And that was just normal. Right. And I think that a 4-day work week would be great. Right. But we don't need to be demand. I think that should be earned.
That's the other
like let's say you can go to a 4-day work week after working for 10 years in the company or something like that. That's great. Yeah. But to demand that in the beginning, this is what's happening.
As an entry-level
unlimited time off, and so there's these demands that are happening from Gen Z that previous generations didn't demand that are wanting. And I'm talking specifically left-leaning Gen Z. That's why I tell those that are in Gen Z, like my sister, well, she's a cuspy. She's like half between millennial and Gen Z, but more, I would say more Gen Z type. That it's easy to shine in your generation. It's easy, if you show up to work every day and you get the job done, it's easy to shine. So there is something to be said about the argument that the quality of worker in America has gone down a little bit when you look at the new generation coming in, and particularly left-leaning Gen Z, because they, again, have been brainwashed into thinking that they don't have to work that hard to make a lot of money.
Okay.
Right. And they want, and I will say that these kids, that they're coming out of college expecting like $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
And
there's some of that.
And you have to be able to work your way up. You have to be able, but they also don't have a lot of hope. So they're like, they're like,
so how do you solve this?
Yes.
You solve this with providing the right type of training, right? You should fix the educational system, because right now the ed system is teaching them to be a bunch of Marxists, right?
Yes.
So that was one of the arguments that Elon got on Twitter was, hey, if you're saying that we don't have good enough workers, then why don't we have schools why don't we fix the educational system to make better workers? And Elon responded a couple of times, basically saying, number one, if you need schools, you've already failed, which, like, what does that even mean? But secondly, somebody else summarized the situation, saying that what happened was the tech bros, the CEOs of the tech industry is what they're calling them, tech bros. The tech bros came and said, we need to hire foreign workers. And the Americans came back and said, well, why don't you just hire us? And the tech bro said, no, you're retarded. Those were his words. And the workers, the Americans came back and said, well, then why don't you just give us some education to, so we can fill these jobs? He says, well, you can't fix retarded. Elon Musk agreed to that post. He said, yeah, that basically sums it up. So what you're saying is, this is a problem that you don't even want to fix. It's one thing if you come in and say, hey, there's a problem with these kids coming out of these colleges. Let's fix the colleges. But when you suggest fixing the colleges, they say, no, that's not going to fix it. So they don't even want to fix it. They just want the foreign workers. What are you supposed to do with that? Like this to me, it's just spitting on the American people and spitting on the American workers. And then on top of all this, the people who have disagreed, several people have had their blue check marks removed. How do you say his name? Owen Schroer from InfoWars had his blue check mark removed. And there's a few other accounts, big accounts. And then Elon put out a tweet saying, hey, as a reminder, in the middle of this debate, he said, as a reminder, if a large account mutes or blocks you, it will lower your reach so that basically no one's going to see what you say. You're going to be shadow banned. And people are like, look, this sounds like a threat. Like, oh, if you disagree with us, we're going to mute you or block you, and then no one's going to see what you say. It just sounds like a threat. And then their blue check marks started to disappear. And then he started saying things like, my tolerance for the subtards, which is what he called them, is limited. And then Laura Loomer's account got suspended. So I don't know, man. This all seems like a big train wreck. Again, we're hoping that DOGE succeeds, that Elon and Vivek succeed in lowering the spending in this country. But Trump hasn't even come into office yet, and we're already. This is like a civil war. People are pissed off at what's going on, and these guys are losing the goodwill and public support that they had very quickly. So I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I hope they walk it back. But the last thing that I read from Elon was him saying that these contemptible fools need to be removed from the Republican Party. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know how this is going to end, but yeah.
Well, it's good we're calling him out and that there is this debate. And I think that's important. We need to, I will say the last 4 years, and this is what I love, or 6 years since Trump. No, now it's been 7 years, almost 8 years. Where's the time going? It's crazy. It's almost 2025, you guys.
Sorry, Buck. We do need to do more.
Yeah, the comment section has been awesome. I've been reading.
Buck's been having some great comments, by the way.
And thank you for being here, you guys. And we every time I do a live, I say I'm going to do more. And again, I've been demonetized on YouTube. I've been losing subscribers every day since my demonetization. I haven't been posting as much, which they don't like. I just need to take a bit of a break and give myself some time to enjoy Christmas because I love Christmas. But we'll be back. But what I love about what's happened this last 8 years, to finish my thought, we're paying so much more attention.
Yes.
We are not letting these people get away with what they used to get away with, even on our own side. And I love that. I think that's important. We need to be paying attention. We need to be holding our politicians accountable. You know, Ron Paul, every single year, he did a report on all of the junk spending that we have done with our tax dollars. We work hard for our money. We work hard. I know that almost every single person that's watching this video is not some sort of heiress. You didn't have a bunch of money handed to you, and you have to pay taxes. And we give our money to the government and in goodwill that they will use it to serve this country. And instead, they're doing all kinds of insane stuff with it. And I think the DOGE is a great idea. I think it's getting I think what's happening with Elon Musk and Vivek and everyone is that they're winning a lot right now, and they're getting a lot of praise. And now we're seeing a side of them that we don't like, and we're going, hey, you know, this is not going to work. Like, you guys can't just bring in a bunch of foreign workers, and this is a red flag on, you know, running our country, right? And they're kind of being they're being called out. They're being called out, and that's a good thing. And we need to keep doing this, and we need to even do it with Trump.
So,
you know, I am a big Trump supporter. I am a big Trump apologist. I love him, but you got to pressure. But we got to make sure
to keep him on the right path.
Live up to yes, exactly. And if they start, you know, Trump gets in office and all of a sudden he's like, my hands are tied. I have to send $200 billion to Ukraine. Yeah. We need to call him out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
we need to be like, no, no.
To follow up on your point on the idea of we're getting woken up. Like, to be honest with you guys, a week ago, if you would have asked me about H-1B visas, I would be like, I don't really feel that strongly about it. Now I'm like, dude, I have a strong opinion on this subject, partly because I'm an American and we are freedom-loving people. And if you spit in our face, we're going to fight back. You know, don't tread on me. And this is like, these people are pissing me off. I got to be honest with you. I don't like seeing the American worker get insulted like this. And people are waking up. So apparently there is a way to search the H-1B system and find these jobs. I've never seen this stuff before. And now people are posting this all over Twitter. Hey, here's the geniuses you're talking about, Elon. So here's some examples. You know, again, these are supposed to be people, they're geniuses, and you can't find Americans to do these jobs at these wages. Here's an example. California, Elk Grove, plumber, pay $26,000 a year. $26,000 a year for a plumber? That is a plumber job. Plumbers can make $100,000 a year. That's a good job. Over that, if you run a business, that is a good trade. $26,000 a year in California for a plumber. You're telling me we needed to go overseas instead of finding a local boy who could do that? That's crazy.
So wait, that's the starting salary, though. That's not actually what they're paying them, right?
And even as a starting salary.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I mean, look at this. Okay. Louisville, Kentucky, Sabai Jai LLC, cook, $22,000 a year. These are not people who are gifted geniuses. It's a cook. Yeah. You can't find a cook in America for $22,000 a year. You have to bring over. Well, this system's being abused.
So what they're doing is people don't want to do $22,000 a year. So they want to get a
That's the idea. Yeah. They want to pay them nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the idea. They're lowering the wages. Mm-hmm. But what Elon and Vivek are coming out and saying is, we want the best of the best. And this is the only way America succeeds. But it's nonsense. It's a lie. And that's what's pissing me off is they're gaslighting us. They're telling us they want to bring Einstein over when they're bringing over a cook for $22,000 a year. And they're undercutting American wages. It's a lie. I mean, there's one on here. What is this? There's one on here for a guy is I don't have it on me right now. It's for a pickleball coach. You need to bring in a foreign worker for a pickleball coach? This stuff is insane. But it's something that none of us really were talking about before. Nobody was searching the system. And now the door is open and the lid is off and we're looking into it and we're like, what the hell is this? And then the next question, which we don't have time to talk about today, but it'll be the next discussion is, why is it that foreign students are getting preferential treatment at our colleges? Let's back it up even more.
Someone had a comment on that in the comment section. I've been reading it. It's going to be hard to find, but whoever made that comment, they said the same thing. They were talking about how there's
preferential treatment in the colleges leads to preferential treatment in the job market. But I will say this, and maybe we can wrap it up with this. Trump has already talked about this, like in 2016, and he called out the H-1B abuse. Vance has talked about this. He was very clear on it. He spoke against this as well. But they've been very quiet over the weekend. Smartly. I think
it is a smart choice.
It is smart. I think they're letting this all play out. They're behind the scenes. And I hope that when he does come out and say something, he puts these guys in their place until like at the bare minimum, you need to stop spitting on us and calling us retarded and all that kind of stuff. Secondly, this stuff is not going to be popular. If they continue to push this, we're going to lose the midterms and you're going to lose all the goodwill you had for DOGE, which you need. Yeah. So hopefully this stuff gets straightened out. Judging by Trump's previous comments, he is not in alignment with replacing truckers, with foreign work. Like, you can find a trucker in America. Why do you need foreign workers to do that?
Unless you want to pay a really low wage.
Unless you want it, exactly.
And the thing is, it's mainly the tech industry right now that's doing this program. And here's the thing. American workers, we are dominant in so many professions in this country, and we are doing a great job. This is a beautiful country, well-run country. I've been to a lot of Americans. I like the cities that aren't quite the big cities, but the smaller cities, like 50,000 people cities in this country. And we have hundreds of well-run, beautiful small cities in this country, right? And it's all Americans. So to say that this one industry needs to have all of these foreign tech workers because there's not enough innovation in America, it's just silly. And it all comes down to, let's make sure our young people are educated and ready to take these jobs, but also know about them. When I was a young person, I did not know anything about certain types of careers and what type of professions I could do it when I was in high school. I didn't know anything about that and how to get these professions. Those are things they don't teach you how to become career and college ready, except for making sure that you do your A through G requirements, which are the classes that are required for high school. But you don't really actually learn how to be career ready in high school and explore careers. And I will say, I'm going to do a plug for our school. We actually do that in our school. We want to make sure that kids that come out of our program, students that come out of our program, that they are career ready and they know how to do a budget. They know how to balance a budget. They know what it's like to.
Our school actually focuses on business, business skills, that kind of thing. So, and you can find more at thinkexodus.org. We have a fully accredited K through 12 program.
And then we also have a program that's taught by Joshua and I that's only $20 a month. Now that one's not accredited, but it's for parents who want to supplement their lessons and make sure
enrichment courses, supplement courses.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's to debunk the woke nonsense.
Yes.
And you can find that one on the same website, or you can go to youngpatriotsacademy.com.
Yes. And we want to offer that as a service to our country. And man, I wish I knew how to start a business, because it has been, I wish I was trained in college. And
we were not taught.
We were not taught. We had to learn ourselves. Right. And so that's what we're trying to do with our school, is make sure that young people are aware of the different options that are for them. And speaking of options, I think one of the best jobs right now, which actually I think is not all foreigners working it, is actually working for Tesla.
Tesla sales.
Tesla
Talk
sales.
About an easy
They're
job.
not importing those people. And Tesla mobile.
The
technicians. The guys that go and I've seen them charge the cars, and I've seen them. So let's show Elon that we are great workers, and let's learn about these jobs and get them. So before he lets some foreigner take it, right? And I think that's it for today. We will try to do these more. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We had over 250 people this whole time, so it's been really nice to talk with you guys about this. And please make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet to
follow
my channel.
Us both on
and this is my husband
X,
Joshua
Fontanilla. Follow us both on X, on Instagram, and subscribe to the channel on YouTube.
And he
both of us as well.
He wants to do this more. It's always me that he has to convince. So let's encourage him. And then I'll come on more and I'll do this more because I've just been beat up and I'm tired of being censored, but I'm not going to let them win. I just need a little bit of a break. Because I'm just been censored a lot this year. And, but I'm going to be back in 2025 strong and feeling a lot better. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Have a happy new year and God bless you guys. And yeah, it's been a great conversation.
Thanks, Buck. You've had some great comments.
All these comments have been wonderful, except for the libtard that's in here.
There's one. There's one person complaining. Trump's a racist, or whatever.
But it keeps the comment section fun, right?
I see you guys.
You gotta have one. Exactly.
You guys are taking them out in the comments. I see it.
Are we allowed to say libtard? I don't care.
I don't know.
But I'm already demonetized, so I can say what I want pretty much right now. All right.
Bye, guys. You guys. And I'll end the live.